Picture this. It's October 1536, and you're standing in a freezing bedchamber at some nobleman's estate in Kent. You got married about 6 hours ago to a man you've met exactly twice. Your feet hurt from dancing. Your head pounds from the wine they kept forcing on you at dinner. Your stomach is doing backflips because you know what's coming next, and it's not what you think. Through the heavy wooden door, you can hear them. Dozens of people, laughing, singing filthy songs, making jokes so crude your ears are burning, even though you can't quite make out all the words. They're coming for you and your new husband, and they're not going to leave. You're 16. You're wearing a thin nightgown your mother spent weeks embroidering with symbols for fertility and protection. Your hair is down for the first time since childhood, because loose hair on a woman means one thing in Tudor England: available, ready, yours for the taking. Every other day of your life, you'd be shamed for appearing like this in front of men. Tonight, it's required. This is a Tudor wedding night. And if you think it is going to be romantic or private or anything like what you've seen in movies, you're in for a shock. Before we get into the truly wild parts of this story, if you're enjoying learning about the stuff they definitely don't teach in history class, smash that like button and subscribe. Seriously, the algorithm loves it when you do, and it helps me keep making these videos. Also, drop a comment and tell me where you're watching from. I love knowing that people all over the world are learning about how absolutely bonkers the past actually was. So, the bedding ceremony, that's what they called it. Not optional, not just for royalty. If your family had any money or status at all, this was happening. And the reason is simple, brutal, and completely insane by modern standards. Your marriage isn't about love. It's not even really about you and your husband. It's about money, land, and making sure both families get what they paid for. See, marriages in Tudor England were business contracts. Your father negotiated a dowry. Your husband's father negotiated a bride price. Lawyers drew up papers about who gets what property when, and all of that, every single bit of it, depends on the marriage being real, legally consummated, provably consummated, which means witnesses. Lots of them. Your preparation started this morning, maybe even yesterday. Your mother and aunts have been having whispered conversations with you for days, teaching you things, except they can't actually teach you anything because you're supposed to be completely ignorant. Virgins don't know about sex, right? So you have to somehow learn what to do while also maintaining the fiction that you have no idea what's about to happen. It's an impossible tightrope, and every bride has to walk it. The bath they gave you earlier was freezing. Your hair got brushed 100 times. Your mother counted each stroke out loud, like it was some kind of ritual, which I guess it was. Then they dressed you in this nightgown. It's white, obviously. Expensive linen that your family probably spent way too much money on. But here's the thing. It's also completely see-through. You can see the outline of your body through it. That's not an accident. That's the point. Some families sewed little pouches of herbs into the seams. Rosemary so your husband stays faithful. Chamomile to keep you calm. Yarrow to stop the bleeding. Because everyone knows there's going to be bleeding. And everyone knows they're going to check for it afterward. The room you're standing in has been prepared like it's a stage set, because that's essentially what it is. A stage for a performance that you're about to give, whether you want to or not. The bed is massive, probably the most expensive thing in the entire house. It was blessed by a priest this morning. The mattress is stuffed with wool or feathers, depending on how rich your family is. Fresh white sheets that servants made up while witnesses watched. Why were there witnesses for making a bed? to make sure nobody hid magic charms or curses in the mattress. This actually happened. Families would plant objects to either boost fertility or prevent it, depending on whose side they were on. The walls have tapestries everywhere. Biblical scenes, Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebecca, Jacob and Rachel. They're not just decoration. They're basically illustrated instruction manuals, visual aids for what's supposed to happen tonight, with God's blessing and everything. The fireplace has been roaring since dawn. They've been feeding it specific types of wood all day. Oak for strength, ash for money. Some families used hawthorn for fertility, but others refused because hawthorn was used in Christ's crown of thorns, and that seemed like bad luck for a wedding night. Candles everywhere. Not a few romantic candles, dozens of them, because the witnesses are going to need to see. Some are fancy beeswax that smell sweet. Others are cheap tallow that smell like burning meat. The combination makes the air thick and choking. You can barely breathe. There's a table next to the bed with wine and little cakes. The wine is watered down for you, strong for your husband. The cakes are supposed to symbolize the sweetness of marriage. Nobody ever eats them. Everyone's too nervous or too drunk. But the wine gets consumed. Oh, does it get consumed? You've been standing here for maybe 20 minutes. Feels like hours. Your mother is here, your new mother-in-law, several aunts from both sides. They're supposed to be comforting you, giving you advice, but mostly they're just staring, adjusting your nightgown, checking your hair, looking for any sign that you might faint or run. Meanwhile, in another room, your husband is getting the male version of this. His groomsmen are undressing him, making increasingly filthy jokes, pouring wine down his throat. This serves multiple purposes, gets him relaxed, makes him feel like one of the boys, and gives him an excuse if things go badly. A drunk man can be forgiven for being clumsy. A sober one has no excuse. But they're also checking him. Not formally, like the women are checking you, but with shoulder punches and rough jokes. They're confirming he's physically ready, capable, because if he's not, if he can't perform, the marriage can be annulled, and nobody wants that kind of scandal. Then you hear it, the procession, starting far away and getting closer. Men's voices singing songs that would make a sailor blush. The stomp of boots on wooden floors, the jingle of bells sewn into their clothes, getting louder, closer. Your heart is pounding so hard you think everyone can hear it. The songs are about exactly what you think they're about. Swords and sheaths, ploughing fields, stallions mounting mares. Zero subtlety, zero romance, just crude, aggressive descriptions of what your husband is about to do to you. While everyone watches, the door bangs open. Your husband stumbles in first. He's swaying. His face is bright red. Could be the wine, could be embarrassment. Probably both. He tries to look at you. You try to look at him. Neither of you can hold eye contact for more than a second. This is a man you barely know. In about 10 minutes, he's going to be inside your body, and you're not going to be alone. Behind him pours the crowd, and it is a crowd. Groomsmen, musicians, random drunk guys who attach themselves to the wedding party. In really fancy aristocratic weddings, we're talking 50, 60 people cramming into one bedroom. They're shouting, cheering, making gestures, offering detailed advice about positions and techniques. The women around you spring into action. Your mother steps forward and removes your robe. Now you're just in the nightgown. The see-through nightgown. The room explodes with cheers and whistles. Your mother-in-law comes close, runs her hands down your arms, checks your neck, your face. She's supposedly making sure you're perfect for her son. Really, She's verifying you're healthy, unmarked, worth the money they paid. Your husband gets the same treatment. The men are slapping him, tugging his nightshirt. One of them makes a joke about what's under it, and you realize with absolute horror that they've actually checked. They've looked to make sure he's aroused, ready to perform. The humiliation is total, complete. This moment that should be private and sacred and just between you two is the most public thing that has ever happened to you, and it's about to get worse. A priest pushes through the crowd, because of course there's a priest. He raises his hands, and somehow the room gets quieter, not silent. These people are way too drunk for silent, but quiet enough that he can speak. He starts blessing the bed in Latin, sprinkling holy water everywhere. On the bed, on you, on your husband. The water is freezing. You flinch. The crowd sees you flinch and cheers, thinking you're scared. You are scared. But not for the reasons they think. The priest drones on about holy matrimony and procreation and mutual comfort. It sounds pretty in Latin. In practice, there's nothing holy about this, nothing comfortable. This is a transaction, a business deal being finalized. You are the product being delivered. The blessing ends. The priest steps back, and your husband walks toward you. The crowd presses closer, forming a tight ring around the bed. Someone starts beating a drum, boom, 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 like a heartbeat or a countdown. Your husband takes your hand. His palm is soaking wet with sweat. He leads you to the bed. You climb onto the bed first. The sheets are cold. So cold, despite the roaring fire, despite the press of bodies in the room. The sheets feel like ice against your skin. You lie down. Your hair spreads across the pillow. Your husband climbs in next to you. The mattress dips under his weight, and everyone stays. Nobody leaves. Nobody even backs up. They crowd closer, craning their necks, jostling for position. Your mother-in-law plants herself at the foot of the bed, arms crossed, watching. The groomsmen line up on both sides. The musicians start playing again. People are literally placing bets on how long this will take. Your husband reaches for the bed curtains. Thick, heavy fabric that normally provides privacy and warmth. He pulls them closed, and this is it. This is all the privacy you get. A curtain, a piece of cloth. That doesn't even go all the way to the floor. You can see shadows through the gaps. You can hear everything, every comment, every joke, every piece of advice being shouted at your husband. Someone yells about hand positions. Someone else suggests a different angle. A third voice reminds him to be gentle, or not. The advice contradicts itself. Nobody actually knows what they're talking about, but everyone has an opinion. Inside the curtains, your husband is breathing hard, nervous breathing, scared breathing. He's as terrified as you are, maybe more, because if he fails, if he can't perform, everyone will know. Everyone will talk about it. His masculinity will be questioned forever. His hands shake as he reaches for your nightgown. You've been told to lie still, be cooperative but passive. Don't resist, but don't help. Don't show that you know anything. Don't show that you're scared. Don't show anything. Just lie there and let it happen. So you do. You lie there, staring at the canopy above you, trying to block out the voices outside, trying to block out what's happening to your body, trying not to cry because if you cry too much, they'll think you're hysterical and that reflects badly on your family. The pain starts, sharp, unexpected even though you were warned. You gasp. Outside the curtains, the crowd goes wild. They think that gasp means progress, success. They cheer, they applaud. Someone starts a new song. Your husband is making noises too. Grunts of effort, frustration. This isn't working the way it's supposed to. The voices outside get louder. Move your hips. No, higher. Use your fingers first. Just push harder. Think of England, boy. Time does something weird. Stretches, compresses. What's probably only minutes feels like hours, feels like days. Feels like your entire life has narrowed down to this moment. This pain, this humiliation, this absolute invasion of everything you thought was private and personal and yours. And somewhere in the middle of the pain and the fear and the voices and the pressure, you understand something. This is your life now. This is marriage. This lack of control, this performance, this being watched and judged and discussed. This isn't a one-time thing. This is forever. Your husband shifts his weight, tries again, and finally, something happens. You feel it, a sharp pain, worse than before, followed by warmth, wetness. He makes a sound, relief, triumph, exhaustion. He collapses next to you, breathing like he just ran a mile. For one perfect moment, there's silence. Just his breathing, your breathing, the crackle of the fire. Then someone outside shouts, "Well, is it done?" Your husband manages to call back, "It's done." His voice cracks on the words. From the wine, from the effort, from the sheer insanity of having to announce to a room full of people that he just took your virginity. The curtains are ripped open immediately. Privacy over. Your mother-in-law moves faster than you've ever seen her move. She's at the bedside before you can even register what's happening. She pulls back the covers, exposes you, examines the sheets with the focus of a lawyer reviewing a contract. There's blood, not a lot, but enough. A small red stain on the pristine white linen. Proof, evidence, documentation that the marriage has been legally consummated, that you were a virgin, that everything is valid and binding and permanent. Your mother-in-law makes a satisfied grunt. She lifts the sheet higher so everyone can see, actually holds it up like a trophy, like a flag of conquest. She announces to the room, the marriage is complete. She was pure. The union is blessed. The room erupts, cheering, applause. Wine bottles being passed around. Men clapping your husband on the shoulder. Women nodding approvingly at you. Everyone celebrating. Everyone's thrilled. Everyone except you, lying there exposed and bleeding and shaking, while strangers discuss the state of your hymen. More toasts to your fertility, to the sons you'll bear, to the continuation of both family lines, to the success of the alliance, to the property transfers, to everything except you. Your feelings, your pain, your absolute violation of every boundary you thought you had. The bloodstained sheet gets carefully removed. Your mother-in-law folds it with reverence. This sheet will be kept, stored in a chest, preserved as legal evidence. Some families will show it to relatives who couldn't attend, pass it around like a birth certificate, because that's what it is. Legal proof that you are now officially property. The celebration continues. More wine, more songs, more blessings. The priest offers a prayer for fruitfulness. Your husband gets congratulated so many times, he starts to look annoyed. You get congratulated too, but differently. Like you've passed a test, which you have. The virginity test, the obedience test, the being publicly penetrated without making a scene test. Slowly, finally, people start to leave. The priest goes first, then the musicians, still playing cheerful tunes. The groomsmen linger longest, extracting promises from your husband to share details later. More details, as if what just happened wasn't detailed enough. The women cluster around you one last time. offering advice, remedies for pain, warnings about what to expect tomorrow, how to wash yourself, what herbs to use, when to see the midwife if the bleeding doesn't stop. All delivered in cheerful tones like this is completely normal and fine, and not the most traumatic thing that ever happened to you. The last person finally leaves. The door closes. And for the first time since this nightmare began, you and your husband are actually alone. The silence is deafening. After hours of noise and chaos and voices, the quiet feels wrong, uncomfortable. Neither of you knows what to say. He mumbles something. Might be "I'm sorry," might be "thank you," might be nothing. Just sounds. You nod because that seems like the thing to do. He lies down. Within minutes, he's snoring, the wine and the exertion knocking him out cold. You lie there awake, staring at the ceiling, feeling the ache between your legs, listening to this stranger snore beside you, your husband, your partner for life, this man you don't know, don't love, don't even particularly like at this moment, though that's probably unfair. He didn't want this either. This public humiliation, this performance, this reduction of intimacy to a witnessed transaction. Your mother's last words echo in your head. Right before she left the room, she leaned close and whispered, "It gets easier." You didn't ask what she meant. The physical pain, the emotional reality, the marriage itself, probably all of it. Hopefully all of it. This is what really happened on Tudor Wedding Nights. Not the Hollywood version with soft lighting and gentle music and two people discovering love. Not the romance novel version with passion and desire and mutual pleasure. The real version, the historical version. The absolutely bonkers version that actually happened to thousands of women across England for centuries. The bedding ceremony was required, standard, expected. To refuse it was to risk the entire marriage, to question the validity of the union, to invite gossip and scandal that could destroy both families, reputations, and financial futures. The witnesses, the inspection, the bloodstained sheets, the crude songs and cruder advice, the mother-in-law checking your body, the groomsman checking your husband's readiness. All of it was normal. All of it was legal. All of it was considered not just acceptable, but necessary. And yet, somehow, within this absolutely insane system, some couples did find love. Not that night. Definitely not that night. But gradually, over months and years, they learned each other, found kindness in small gestures, built intimacy in the spaces between public performance and private reality. The Tudor Wedding Night was a beginning, but not the beginning we imagine. It was the start of a negotiation between personal desire and public expectation, between the human need for connection and the political reality of marriage as property transfer, between who you were before and who you'd have to become, and the sheets, those blood-stained sheets that got folded so carefully, they'd be brought out again, shown to lawyers if inheritance was disputed, presented as evidence in annulment hearings, referenced in property settlements. Those sheets had more legal weight than your word, than your husband's word, than anything either of you might say about what actually happened that night. Some women got lucky. Some husbands were kind, gentle, as considerate as the circumstances allowed. They'd whisper apologies behind the bed curtains, promise it would be better next time, try to make the best of an impossible situation. Others weren't lucky. Other husbands were rough, drunk, angry at being forced to perform. They took out their humiliation on their wives, made the pain worse, the fear worse, started the marriage with violence that would set the tone for everything that followed. But either way, kind husband or cruel one, the wedding night was the same. Public, witnessed, documented. a spectacle designed to verify virginity, ensure consummation, and establish legal ownership of a woman's body and reproductive capacity. As dawn breaks through the windows, you finally drift into uneasy sleep, your hands still clutching the sheets, your body still aching, your mind still spinning with everything that just happened. Your wedding night is over, your marriage has begun, and this absolute invasion of privacy and dignity and bodily autonomy, this is what passed for normal in Tudor England. Welcome to your new life. Welcome to marriage. Welcome to the reality that history books don't talk about and movies don't show. This is what really happened. This is how it really was. Absolutely bonkers, completely real, and somehow people survived it.